Hey everyone, Zion over here from Nintendo Life. Now you may have seen our video recently, I guess it was like a month or two back, where we ranked all 151 of the first generation of Pokemon. It was extremely exhausting. It was nearly 2 hours long, but it was a ton of fun. And seeing all the original sprites and chatting with Alex and John about some of our most fond memories with the series, it had me itching to go back and play the originals. I have such fond memories of this game as a kid. This may sound ridiculous, but I remember our school eventually banning Pokemon cards and the video game. And so me and my friends, we would play the game in like slides and different playground tunnels, and we would trade Pokemon and battle against each other. I remember one of my buddies, John, which was one of my best friends growing up, he actually let me borrow his level 100 Blastoise for like a weekend or something like that. And I was able to demolish everything in my path with it. It was so cool. Now, I can't remember if I grew up with red or blue. I might have had both. I'm not entirely sure, but I definitely had yellow. And I remember going back and playing yellow probably like 4 or 5 years ago. And I made it about halfway through, but I just put it down after a while. And so this time I thought I'd start off with blue again, start from scratch and see if it still has any of that original charm that made me fall in love with the series to begin with. You know, see if it feels the same at all remotely now that I'm a 28-year-old adult. I also recently picked up an original Game Boy Color, which is in super nice shape. It still even has the serial number on the back. It's not like worn away or anything from grubby hands or just people playing it over and over again. You know, the screen has some scratches, but it's pretty clean for the most part and everything works fine. And I'll talk about this more in a little bit, but it has been an experience playing it on this. And all the gameplay capture that I'm gonna use in this video too was captured with my camera on this Game Boy. So to preface this, I'm not done with the game yet. I've completed all of the gyms. I have all 8 badges. I'm on my way to the Elite Four, and so I'm almost done with the story, but I still have a little bit left to go. And from what I can tell with the time I've put into the game, Pokemon Red, Blue, and I suppose Yellow are the simplest form of a Pokemon game. You're some random kid who sets off on a quest to see the world and find Pokemon. You get to choose from one of 3 different starter Pokemon at the beginning. I chose Bulbasaur, by the way. And you get a Pokédex, which tracks every Pokemon you've encountered and caught. You meet your rival, who's kind of a jerk and battles you periodically throughout your journey. You fight gyms for badges and to level up your Pokemon. The game also sends you on little quests here and there. Like at one point, to progress the story, you have to go to Lavender Town, and you end up going to this basically a giant like burial ground for Pokemon, and you learn that Pokemon die. You also have to help an old man find his golden teeth in the Safari Zone. But otherwise, the story is pretty straightforward. You catch Pokemon, you beat your rival every so often, you collect gym badges, you fight the Elite Four, and then you're good. Capiche? Whenever I start a Pokemon game, I usually try to catch every Pokemon that comes along my way. I try to get everything I can. And eventually it comes a point where I stop catching Pokemon. I just don't care anymore. But this time around, I'm still catching everything. I think I have about 65 or maybe almost 70 Pokemon. I've done an okay job. Certain Pokemon don't spawn as often as you'd like, but the map function in the game actually lets you go and find out where certain Pokemon spawn, or if you can't even find them on the map, because some Pokemon are exclusive to the red version or the blue version. In order to get the others, you actually have to trade with someone, and you have to have them physically in person with you. There's, you know, it's a Game Boy, there's no online play. And I think a big reason that I've stayed with this game and stuck with it and tried to catch all these Pokemon is because of its simplicity. There's a lot of depth with which attacks you use in battle and which Pokemon you pick, but otherwise a lot of this game is just sort of muscle memory for me, especially since I've played a lot of these games over the years. But things still feel fresh and new since it's been so long since I've actually sat down and played this game, this version. I still remember what to do for the most part, except for there was one point where I had to ask on Twitter how to get strength, because I made it to the part where you're supposed to use it, and I couldn't figure out how I had missed it. I got surf, and I'm trying to not use a strategy guide, so going to Twitter and asking people what to do it sort of felt like I was on the playground again, like asking my friends, or, you know, or if you're asking your coworkers what to do in a game. It was kind of a cool way to interact with the game. And since the game is so straightforward, it's great for multitasking too. So if you want to watch TV or play it in the car and still have a chance to look out the window and see the views or chat with anyone else in the vehicle, you can still play and feel like you're a part of whatever's going on, because it's not really demanding that much from you mentally. And the ability to save on the overworld map helps tremendously as well, which I know all other Pokemon games allow you to do that too, but just being able to do that so quickly on the Game Boy is nice as well. It allows you to pick up and play it at any moment. The Game Boy itself has also made this a really interesting experience. Since there's no backlight on the color, I've had to use random light sources to play. Sometimes I'll turn on an extra lamp or lean in a certain direction to catch the light just right on the Game Boy. And it almost makes playing the Game Boy a game itself. But when you actually catch the light just right, the screen is so beautiful. The pixels pop right out of the screen. Not like the 3DS, not that far, but it's something else. And sure, I understand that I could mod this Game Boy Color and put a backlight in it myself, but I already have a modded GBA and I have a Game Boy Advance SP if I want one with a backlight. I've also been using rechargeable batteries with this too, and I've charged these twice, I believe, in total. One time I don't even think I had to, I was just being safe. And I've put 45 hours into this game already. 45 hours with 2 times charging these batteries. That's nuts. Whenever I'm playing my Switch or my 3DS or something like that, I'm always worried about the battery life. But here it's not draining power when it's off, since there's no sleep mode and there's no light either. So it's really just really simple. And since the Game Boy Color doesn't connect to the internet, there's no distractions either. No notifications pinging me or friend requests or messages or game invites or any other games installed on the game to distract me. If I only have this game on me and I want to play a game, that's what I have to play. And I've got no complaints about it. I've played this on the couch, in the car, at my desk. I've taken this up to the mountains. I've taken this thing everywhere. And I've only been playing it for a few months, but I already have such good memories with it. And I've learned a few new things too since I've been playing, actually. Like, did you know that you can sort your items by pressing the select button when you're in the item menu? I had no idea growing up. That would have been a lifesaver when I was a kid. So now I make sure that I have my bicycle up at the top and my town map and my Pokeballs are all right up top too. Then you don't have to scroll all the way through your items just to find whatever you're looking for. I wish I knew that as a kid. I do wish that you could store more items in your PC and in your pockets, because currently I haven't really used many TMs, and I have so many TMs that my PC is full and my pockets are full of TMs that I'm to the point where I'm just throwing away ones that I know I'm never going to use. And it feels bad. And speaking of tips, you know how most RPGs have NPCs littered all around the maps? Well, Pokemon is no stranger to that. And for the longest time, I would always go interact with every NPC in a video game. If it was, especially if it was an RPG, I would go talk to everyone in case if they had something important to say or they had an item to give out. And in recent years, I've sort of slacked on that mentality. I don't really do it as much as I used to, but I've always thought, like, why do I do that? And now that I'm playing Pokemon Blue, I'm realizing that it's probably this game's fault that I do that, because every NPC in the game, they're not always going to have an item for you, but they're usually always going to have something to say that revolves around the lore of the game, or just like a general tip to help you on your journey. Like they might teach you about the fact that a Pokemon can only evolve when it becomes traded, or if you evolve it with a certain stone. And back in the day, unless you had a strategy guide or you talked to someone, you might not have known that certain thing. It feels almost like the NPCs are the developers of the game, and they're there with you on the journey, kind of guiding you along, making sure you learn everything about it. Now, of course, the Pokemon games had some pretty hefty manuals too, and a lot of that information was probably tucked away in there, but it's nice that the game has such a solid way of just teaching you about its world and making it fun still. On my playthrough, I've made sure I've talked to everybody in a Pokemon Center, in a mart, everybody that I run into, I talk to. Sometimes their dialogue can be a little hit or miss. It's not always the most well written, but it's usually funny stuff, or at least they're helpful. You will genuinely want to seek everybody out while you play, because it feels like they have a purpose. Some of the random encounters can be a little much from time to time, but at one point I ended up getting Lapras from Silphco, and it was level 15. It was way lower than the rest of my team. And so I actually put it in the front row, and whenever I encountered a Pokemon that was, just weaker, I would attack with Lapras. But if I encountered something stronger, I would switch out to something else. And then that way Lapras was still gaining experience, and it eventually became like a real reliable member of my team. And I think it's the highest level Pokemon I have now. And so those random encounters became really important for leveling up Lapras. Now that I'm making my way through Victory Road, it feels like I'm running into Pokemon just all the time. So I actually just caught Zapdos while I was getting footage for this video, and I was running into Voltorbs and Magnemites the whole time. And thankfully I didn't have a Magnemite at the time, but I caught one, and now it felt like I didn't have any reason to catch any more because they were so low level. Now, I'm not sure that I'd recommend this experience for everybody. These games are pretty dated, but they still have the simple design philosophy going for them. A lot of my joy from playing these games comes from the fact that I played them as a kid, I think, or just the fact that I'm pretty into Pokemon, I would say. Most of the game is pretty familiar, but there's still so much baked into it that every so often something feels new again. Like I said, I have 45 hours into this game, a Game Boy Color game. My team is around level 40 to 45, and I still have loads to do. Like I said, I just caught Zapdos, I caught Moltres the other day, so now I have to go get Articuno and then Mewtwo after I beat the Elite Four. And you know, there's still tons for me to do. I haven't even messed with the game corner yet, and the Safari Zone, there's still a few Pokemon there I have to catch. I think Chansey and Kangaskhan are eluding me. The whole rock throwing thing is, like, why am I throwing rocks at Pokemon? And the game wants you to do it. You know, if you have memories of the original and it's been years since you've played these, playing on an original Game Boy Color could be a really refreshing way to go back and experience them. Of course, you can also play them on the 2DS and 3DS if you feel like playing them that way too. You know, it's a lot cheaper. I think they're probably only like $5 to $10 on the eShop, where, you know, buying a Game Boy Color and the game and making sure it has a reliable save battery that's actually going to keep your save file intact is important, and they're kind of expensive nowadays. And of course, if you play it on the eShop, you won't have to worry about battling the sun. But like I said, that's kind of half the fun playing this game, is just catching the angles, seeing the light hit it just right, and just enjoying the Game Boy Color for what it is. Let us know in the comments down below the last time you booted up one of the original Pokemons, whether it be Gold, Silver, Pokemon Yellow, Red, or Blue, or if maybe let us know if you've never played those games. Let us know what your first Pokemon game is. Was it Ruby or Sapphire, Diamond and Pearl, Black and White, Sword and Shield, Sun and Moon? I feel like I'm forgetting one. I think that's all the main lines, right? Fire Red, Leaf Green? That's not a main line, but whatever. It's a remake. And as always, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more content like this, then why don't you go ahead and catch that subscribe button with a master ball so that way it doesn't run away on you. And then ring that notification bell to be notified whenever we release new videos. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm Zion from Nintendo Life. Stay safe out there, and we will see you next time.